Well, nice to meet you virtually.
Same.
Before we get started, just let me know and if there are any certain things you for sure want to touch on that I ask you so I don't miss anything.
Nope, nothing particular.
Okay, perfect. So let's get started then. Okay, you have such an interesting history and background. I want to start with where you kind of grew up and what made you interested in becoming such a multifaceted entrepreneur.
Thank you. That's a great question. So I was born in Romania. Back then it was communist, like North Korea right now. You couldn't
Mhm.
exit the country. They would shoot behind you at the border. So leaving Romania as a kid was unimaginable. I was reading all these Jules Verne books and Magellan and Columbus and explorers and traveling and pirates, and it was like
Yeah.
making people dream, making me dream as a kid. And then my parents divorced. My mom married a French man, my stepfather, and we moved to France. And I went to school in France. And of course, it was different. Um, and I moved to the US in 2003 for studying. So that's pretty much my background. Mostly engineering, science, a few master's degrees. But what was interesting is that I think when you're a kid, that's when your dreams start. The stuff
Hmm.
the cartoons you watch, the books you read, the people you talk, and less what you have and more what you don't have, right?
Yes.
And so being able to travel and explore the world, and that was really always made me dream. And I was always attracted to business. I
Okay.
I, I find that business gives you freedom to do things,
Yes.
and you can travel for business. You can have the means to go to restaurants, hotels, travel. So that's what drove me for a long time.
Very good. When you came to the US in 2003, you said?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. What university did you go to when you
Um,
came?
so I came to MIT near Boston in
Wow.
Cambridge. Thank you. It's I got an internship first. It was supposed to be a 2 months internship.
Okay.
That 2 months internship, after about a month and a half, the professor I had there, Scott Manalis, asked me if I can stay another year. And I was
Uh,
like, sure.
yes.
Yeah, sure. Um, I was doing research on cantilevers. So I was helping back then a grad student who was a PhD student, now he's a professor in Germany, Thomas. And we were trying to use cantilevers with channels through the cantilevers to measure the weight of molecules and try to use that in medicine to try to you put a drop of your blood on the system on the chip,
Yep.
and they will try to detect things in your blood if it's you have issues, cancer, whatever, weight molecules, deposits. So it was very early stages. Since then, the group has made quite a few publications in Nature and Science,
Wow.
and it's done really well. So I did that for about a year, and
Okay.
then I went back to France to finish my degree. I wanted to finish my 2 degrees in France,
Okay.
and then I came back to MIT for my end of degree internship, which then changed to another internship under
They
Professor.
liked you. They just kept saying, Come and keep coming back," right?
Well,
That's
I liked
awesome.
it too. You know how things work. When you like what you're doing and you're doing it well, people like, and it's a
Yes.
good teamwork.
Yes, a
Yeah,
100%. That's how I've gotten everywhere in life. It's just like you find those people that motivate you and inspire you and have the same work ethic. Because there's so many people that don't have that drive or that internal motivation or work ethic. And when you find that, you're like, okay, here we go.
you're spot on. I have my cousin who came to visit me in New York last week, and he has a 14-year-old. And 14-year-old is very interested in business, how to start businesses, how to be an entrepreneur, can you do this, can you do that. And my main advice to him to be successful in business, just say what you're gonna
Yep.
do what you're gonna say, and do it on time and on budget. That's it. And if you do
Okay,
that,
wait.
you'll be a billionaire.
I agree 100%. Like everyone's always like, are there secrets or how, I'm like, no. And that's so I want you to say that again slowly so all the people can hear it because
Yeah,
that's $1 million billion tip right there.
I think so. So once again, very simple.
Yep.
Say what you're gonna
Okay.
do what you're gonna say, what you said you're gonna do,
Uh-huh.
and do it on time and on budget. If
Very
you can
good.
just, no matter what you do, you're painting apartments, you're building houses, you're cleaning, you have, no matter the business you do, just do that, and you'll be top three in your field in no time.
100%. I think work ethic is so important.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So
And
so it
and
went
being a
pretty well,
person of your word. You've obviously been a person of your
definitely.
word.
I
Yes.
you always try. sometimes beyond, it's out of your hands and you cannot. COVID happened, but it also matters what you do when that happens. When COVID started, I had started a surf travel business, and I had my first trip was sold out for March 2020, and I had 8 customers who had paid. And when COVID started and everything started blocking, I didn't wait for them to ask. I just gave them their money back. And
Yeah.
to me, that's something that, bad things happen all the time. What you do when that happens also tells you who you are, what kind of person you are, how you deal with problems. And once again, very revealing.
That is so funny. So during COVID, a little bit about me, I had never been in a pageant before
Mhm.
and I wanted to help, right? I was like, what should I do? How can I help? So I ran for this pageant because the pageant was still going on and I won the damn thing. So
Wow.
during, yeah, in 20, let me get I'll show you my fancy picture here.
I'm very curious.
I know, it's just fascinating. So in 2020, I became Mrs. Minnesota and went to Mrs. America. Here's my fancy picture.
Wow, that's amazing.
A lot of lights, camera, and
I would say
action.
you look better now than in the picture.
Thank you.
Welcome.
But I think that's exactly it. Those are defining moments where you
Yeah.
really figure out who are the winners in life and who are gonna fight or flight.
There is something my father told me many things, and we can go back to your first question there. But one of the things that my father told me that stuck with me is that at the moments in life when he felt the most in danger, in a difficult position, those are the moments he had to recollect and reorganize everything and focus and get out of the big trouble he was in.
Mhm.
And those are the moments that set him for the next big achievements and the next milestones in life.
Yes.
So, well, of course, they can break you, but in his cases, he was able to reorganize, reassess, whatever, get out of his trouble, and that helped him a lot. Much more. When things go well, everything is okay, you don't worry too much, you don't make any changes. And
Hmm.
when things are bad, you make changes, and those changes, especially done well, and the right changes, usually put you to the next milestone.
And that's the
Like yourself.
difference really between someone who's going to be have excellence and someone who's going to stay at the status quo, don't you think?
Exactly. So problems help in some ways.
Yes, they do.
Yeah,
Especially if you look at them that way, right? It's
exactly.
how would you say you developed your mindset? I think mindset is so important with entrepreneurship and you seem to have a
Oh,
really positive outlook, a really
thank you.
strong mindset. How
Thank
did
you.
you become that person?
Oh, I have a few different stories for that. The first one was my father. I was telling you about him. So I remember I was about 5, 6. We were in the bathroom washing our hands or something, and asked my father. Everybody told me that my father was the smartest man they've ever met. And I asked my father, why? Why are you smart? What makes you smart? Well,
Yeah.
you father. And he said there are 2 types of smart people: people who know a lot about a small number of things,
Okay.
people who know a little bit about many different things. And he's the type where he knows a little bit about many different things.
Hmm.
So first rule is that. His second rule he told me is never say everything you know. So for example, he was teaching microbiology at the School of Medicine in Romania.
Hmm.
And he said, if you holding a class, you're
Hmm.
going to study and learn and prepare materials for 3 hours, but your class is 1 hour.
Hmm.
And you teach your class for 1 hour, but you don't always say everything you could say or to say about the subject. You keep some in reserve. So that's also something that he taught me.
I love that. But why? Why is he saying you keep it in reserve? Is that for personal gain or is that for what reason?
Probably he didn't explain, but I
Hmm.
assume that after as the class goes, as discussions, as life happens,
Yeah.
things go in different directions that you don't know, and you always have information, data, actions prepared, plans, no matter which direction this goes. So you're waiting to see which direction things are going in order to then deploy what you prepared in that direction.
Very good.
And it could be
Timing.
questions at the end of the lesson, in his case, probably.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
That was some exam questions.
Mhm.
I love that. Yeah, timing is everything. I really agree.
Sure.
So when you talk about time, you have so many interesting things. Is that art behind you one of
It
yours?
is. Yeah, yeah. It's not my best, but for the last year and a half, I started oil painting.
Oil painting. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
fun
I
stuff.
love that. Okay, so you've got you've got career journey, you've got photography, you've got art studio, surfing, companies. What do you think drives you to your next endeavor? How do you get that spark to start something new?
Great question. So it's definitely curiosity
Mm-hmm.
and challenges, but not unmanageable challenges, because I know there are things I know I cannot do. I will never I will never dance. I will never be a dancer. I'll never be a ballet dancer. That's what it is. Not that I miss it particularly, but it's a mix of finding things that provide a reasonable amount of challenge, which keep me interested and motivated and keep me on my toes, wanting to learn something new
Mm-hmm.
on one side. And on the other side, opportunities as well. For example, with oil painting, I had interest, but never had the time, never had the place, never had. And then I got this studio we're talking from right now. I'm in my photography studio in my office, and then I had the space. And
Mm-hmm.
then I bought an easel, but I didn't know how to paint. And I held a cocktail party, and one of my neighbors here is an oil painter.
Oh
And
my
I
gosh.
convinced her to give me in an hour and a half the very basics of how to set up your palette, which paints to use, what to do once you squeeze the paint out of the tube. What do you do? You know,
Yes.
it's not as
ABC.
obvious. It's not that obvious. Yeah, which brushes to use, how to, and the very basics, how to go from nothing to my first painting.
Mm-hmm.
And then then you practice, you try. So then once you get going, no matter what you do, build a business, oil painting, photography, I don't know, gym, whatever, it's pretty simple. You find teachers, you practice,
Mm-hmm.
you buy the books, you read the books,
Mm-hmm.
and you research. And also, and you a lot of this. So I love cooking, for example. And one of the things I learned in cooking is if you just go and take a cooking class, you don't get much out of it. If you first try something like making croissants, it's very hard. Have you ever tried making croissants?
No, but I love them. Oh my
Right.
gosh.
Good croissants, warm from the oven, are incredible. If you never try that, it's nothing in this world like that. But
In
best croissants
Paris?
are affordable in Paris.
Yeah,
Well, in France,
France. Yeah.
The best ones I've had lately has been in the airport, because I show up early morning, 6 a.m. for the flight,
And they're fresh.
and they're fresh and warm, and you eat like three, you just can't stop.
Oh my gosh, it's like heaven. Like the butteriness,
Yep.
flakiness, so
Yeah.
good. Oh my
But
gosh.
but if you look on a YouTube video and try to make it at home, maybe you're special. All of us, it's
No, I
horrible.
wouldn't be able to do it.
The result is horrible.
Yeah, no, mine would be like dough balls, totally.
So mine look like pizzas.
There you go. There
Yeah.
you go. Yes.
So I tried to do that. I failed once or twice, but I had the idea what was difficult. And then when I took the class about making croissants in a school in Paris, I could focus on those important small three different things that actually made a difference. And when I tried to make them again at home, they were closer to something good. My kids, like, I don't touch that. But to me, they were edible.
Well, yes.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Thank you.
Let's talk about some of your future ventures and thought leadership. That was something I'm really interested in. Your mentorship, your thought leadership. You have that teacher and your father, and it seems like you love to be taught, but you also lead and teach.
I love teaching. So I was thinking the other day, my sister is a teacher. My grandma, my mom's side was a teacher, chemistry university. My mother's two cousins are art teacher and math teacher. And I was making a living when I was in undergrad, tutoring math, physics, chemistry, and English. So
Wow.
teaching is amazing. I find that if you can teach something, then it forces you to really understand it.
Yes.
So that's very important. So next ventures I'm working on right now are more towards public companies. I've noticed recently that I've been on my mind for a while. I've read some biographies of some famous people, and I noticed that public companies have it easy. I built a bunch of private companies, some up to tens of millions in dollars a year.
Mhm.
But it's very hard and expensive to find capital, to find customers, to get marketing, to get PR. And public companies have some issues, some challenges, let's say. But a few things they have really good going for them is low cost of capital, great visibility, good natural marketing and PR.
Mhm.
And I find that trying to use some of these strengths in some directions, business directions I have in mind, is what I'm interested in right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm early stages in different structures, packs, and so on, building a team. But I'm looking into this either in fintech and finance
Mm-hmm.
or in what I call Android technologies. And some people call it robotics, and they're usually for manufacturing. But I think we're already in a stage where we can talk about androids. You know what
So
androids are?
robots? I mean, is it robots?
It is robots, but robots who are actually able to reproduce human behavior. So
Mm-hmm.
I have here around my office, I have a robot that does vacuum and washing of the floor.
I
It's, those flat ones, they work really great. They've made huge improvements in the last 10 years,
yes.
but it's not Android. I cannot have it move the cables and vacuum under and do the dust on my table and vacuum the couch and many things it cannot do, just the floor, right?
Yep.
But technology right now has reached a level, and I'm convinced about that, where instead of getting a flat pancake robot, I can buy for about $5,000.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say it again, 5,000, not 50, not $5,000.
$5,000.
You
Okay.
buy a robot that looks like a human, has arms and legs, and you teach it to use your actual vacuum and your mop to
For
actually clean.
$5,000?
Yes, yes. So
Wow.
stay
Think
tuned
of
for new
that.
adventures. It's coming up soon in New York City. Hopefully, I'll be successful in this.
Oh my, well, think about how much sense does that make? I mean, think about how much big businesses are paying their cleaning staff or whatnot.
So the cleaning staff is still needed because these robots will need supervision. They will need management. But and the difference is that one cleaning staff will be able to supervise, let's say, 10, 20 robots.
Yes.
And the robots will break things. They will get caught in wires. So
They're like little kids. You have to teach them. They have
exactly.
to learn.
Oh, I have little kids. I know what it is like. It takes years and years of teaching.
And patience. Lots
And
of
patience,
patience.
a lot of patience. You know what's really interesting? I've noticed this, how humans treat robots.
Uh-huh.
How would you feel if I just took a big hammer and went and smashed the robot I have cleaning my floor here? Your
No.
face says it all. You'll be like, what?
Why
Wrong,
would
right?
you do that? Yeah, why would you do that?
Why? Well, it's nothing. It won't not gonna hurt it. It's not an animal. It's a piece of metal, right? So it's not gonna get hurt. It's not
Yeah.
gonna. I'm not breaking. I own it. There's nothing wrong with me taking a hammer and breaking my robot. And yet, as human beings, make them put human personas in them, and we create feelings in them.
Yes.
And the same thing with these androids. They're gonna be even more. They're gonna look like humans. So I think they're going to be used for manufacturing. I think going to be used for
Oh, yeah.
pharma, agriculture. I think going to be used for in defense as well.
Mm-hmm.
And
Which is
and crime.
crazy thinking about that. It's like a movie almost, you know?
Well, if you see what's happening right now in Eastern Europe, in Ukraine, the innovations and based on drones, but also androids and land drones and so on is incredible. But so all of this, something point I wanted to bring up that's very important. One of my companies, Lampix, was creating this augmented reality using projector and computers and cameras. And one of my first customers was Bloomberg. And I
Okay.
was installing them on tables. They had a round table series. I had some in DC, in San Francisco, in New York, where there was CEOs of large companies, I think senators, like people really smart and really, really sophisticated people. And the question around these round tables was the future of work. This was happening 10 years ago, before AI, before these androids, when we were already questioning self-driving cars. It was based on self-driving cars and all of these things that
Yep.
are still struggling for now.
Yeah, still struggling a little bit.
And the takeaway from all these roundtables, I was there in the room. I was, fixing the lamps, but I was listening to what
You
they
were
were saying.
learning. You were in
Exactly.
proximity, right?
I was
Proximity
the
is
IT guy in the
power.
corner, but I
Yeah.
was learning. And what I learned from these discussions was very, really interesting, is that for 300 years, humans have been creating new technologies. And every single time, every 10 years, every 20 years, everybody, oh my God, it's going to kill all the jobs. The first one was steam engines and all the machines to weave and to create wool and all of that. Like, it was 300 years ago in England, right?
And they were
And
saying
then
that those machines were going to take away
destroy
every.
payroll, yeah. And
Okay.
what they did, they actually, yes, destroyed some category. You wouldn't sit there by hand and weaving fabric by hand anymore.
Yes.
But they created more jobs than they destroyed.
Yes, because you get more in depth, you get more detailed, you get more.
And new jobs that didn't even exist before.
Mhm.
So same thing, like for example, AI. Now
Yes.
you're creating jobs like prompt engineer.
Mhm.
What's a prompt engineer? Before AI existed, you have no idea what a prompt engineer was.
Yes.
And this has been the story all along. When computers were created, when software, like, oh my God, we're going to get rid of all the architects, we're going to get rid of all the secretaries, we're going to get rid of. No, they don't get rid of. They change. The jobs change. And this has been the case when, I don't know, machines started showing up in factories. In fact, I mean, so the long story takeaway is that
Mhm.
AI, Androids, and so on will not destroy humanity, will not destroy jobs. Of course, we have to be careful. There are things like nuclear bombs who could destroy humanity. So we have to be smart. But
Mhm.
if we continue doing what we've been doing, I'm optimistic. I think in the world, humans have had a good. Humanity has overall, on average, is doing much better for the last 50 years than it was 50 years ago. Infant mortality is down, poverty is down,
Mhm.
hunger is down, disease is down on average, right? So on
Yes.
average means that over 8 billion people, a bigger percentage, a smaller percentage are doing bad, a bigger percentage are doing well.
Yes.
Now, it's a long trend, it takes a long time, and we have relapses here and there, but I'm hopeful about humanity, I'm hopeful about humans, and I think AI and Android and all of these technologies, net will help and improve humanity.
I agree. Wow, I love that perspective. I think that's so powerful. What do you say to people who aren't going to get on board or who aren't going to lean into AI? I find this in so many. Bye. You say bye?
No, in some ways, yeah. So I know a few people who don't use computers,
Oh, at
who
all?
don't have, they are retired, they're in their 70s and 80s. They've never used computers. No, they live upstate New York. And they don't have computers, don't use computers, they don't know how to use a computer, they don't want to learn how to use a computer.
Okay.
They're 75-year-old, 80-year-old, and what you tell them is the same thing I would tell people who don't use AI. You know, it's you're gonna disappear.
That is so important to say because I feel like some people are afraid to say that, but things change and you have to change with the times, right? And it's not necessarily a bad thing. It can be a good thing if you have the right people with the right intentions doing the work.
Now, they may need help to adapt, but I think it's important to always try to understand and use and learn and be open to new technologies.
Mhm.
My grandma was very scared of escalators.
That's so cute.
That's what she was, and yet she used them, but it was challenging. And being afraid of, I'm sure the lady, I haven't asked her, but this lady who doesn't use computers, I'm sure she's fine with escalators. My grandma was quite a few decades older than her. So you see, like everybody looks back and will learn. And I'm sure when I'll be 80, there'll be some new technology of mind reading, flying, I don't know. And I'll be like, I'm not sure I want this to read what's in my mind.
Yeah, you're like, how do I block this out? I don't know.
And maybe you're familiar with the TV series on Netflix, Black Mirror.
Yes.
Oh, scary. Oh my God.
Oh, it's scary,
And
but it's
so
fascinating.
realistic. That's what makes it scary.
Exactly. You're right. You're right. That is what makes it scary. But it's so funny because teaching, I also substitute teach in the local schools, and you see these kindergarteners with iPads, and to them, it's second nature. It's like opening a book, right? They're using it as a learning tool.
Yeah.
So it's just fascinating how your perception changes as things evolve.
And how new technology, like we have social media, right? Instagram,
Yeah.
Facebook, and it's fascinating how new technology like AI is affecting fairly new technology as social media, where creating social media content becomes so easy and so boring and so uninteresting. If
Hmm.
I was Zuckerberg, I would be worried.
Because
My
I mean,
content,
it's just like yeah, you can
I'm
use all
losing my
these
content.
apps.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh, that's so true. What about crypto? I know that you have some general thoughts on crypto and you've kind of dove into that. Are you still looking at more of that in the future?
Yeah, I mean, to me, crypto is now a legit section of fintech and finance. It's a tool.
Hmm.
It's the blockchain and all of that. There is some real value there. I believe Sam Altman from OpenAI said soon there will be $1 billion company with less than 5 employees using AI. People have been saying for a long time, but it hasn't happened yet. But I still think it might happen. We can talk about why it didn't happen and so on. Of companies replacing Amazon, replacing eBay, replacing marketplaces, especially, which is a marketplaces, Amazon. So Amazon, eBay, they charge 15, 20, 25, 30% of the seller's money, right? So if you sell something, they keep a big chunk of that. And the only reason they keep that is because they're able to market your products, but also they're a partner of trust. The seller knows going to get paid, the buyer knows they are paying. So they're providing this middleman. Blockchain, you don't need that anymore. So I believe that these companies should also be worried that all the companies who provide trusted intermediaries, they should not, if you use it on blockchain, competitors will be able to reduce their cut to much smaller, a few percentage points, maybe 5%. And companies like Amazon, like eBay, and so on will have a hard time competing if the competitors charge 5%. Because from a consumer point of view, I can buy toothpaste on Amazon for $10, or I can buy toothpaste on a blockchain competitor for $7. Guess how long that will last?
Fascinating.
Thank
What
you.
are your thoughts on TikTok? There's been such an uprising in TikTok live selling,
True.
and it's really killing home shopping. It's killing a lot of these other things. So, what are your thoughts on that and where that's going?
Well, I think people like stories and they like connection and they like if I was to show you this and I say, oh, it's a piece of wood, you'd be like, not interesting. Now, this is African art that my father gave me. It's the last piece I have from my home. When I left Romania, he gave me this, and it's one of the souvenirs I have, and I keep in my office of my father, and it's made of particular wood from Africa. Same thing. Immediately, if I say the first one is $10, you're like, I'm not sure. If I tell you $100, you're like, oh, that's a good price.
Yes.
Human nature has not changed. So my first takeaway is that human nature doesn't change. The Greeks, ancient Romans, Roman Empire, all the plays, the dramas, the stories, all the time they spent creating stories, consuming media, it's the same. And people love it. And it's just a new mechanism, more personalized, more efficient. It's also giving, before to do shopping or TV shopping, you had to have a TV station with a huge machine, billions of dollars. Now anybody with a $500 phone can do the same thing. And it's great because it opens the door to all these people who couldn't get in, who allows them to break through the walls, the barriers they were there before, and allows everybody around the world, no matter where they are, it's very cheap, it's same internet, right? To do all of this.
Yep.
On one side. On the other side, this also allows anybody with any agenda to do whatever they want. So this can be bad as well. It allows people to promote things that are questionable and without any gatekeeping, any limitations or any of that.
Yes. Your biography is so fascinating.
Thank you.
Because yeah, and you've just done so many things. You can tell you're really when you're interested in something, you kind of go all in, I can tell.
I do. And there's that magic moment when you do something and you forget to have lunch, you forget to have food.
Yes.
You're doing it, and you wake up and it's like 7 p.m. Like, where did my day go? And that's magical. When you hit one of those and it lasts a few months, it feels so rewarding.
Right? I feel like people search for that their entire lives. And it's like when they find it, it's like, oh, this is what it's supposed to be like. Okay.
That moment. The other moment is when you build something and you're working every day. And when you do something like that, typically it takes you all day, every day, and it's a lot of work. And then you don't have time to worry about the big picture. You just, chug along. And then 6 months or a year later, you look back what you've accomplished in 1 year, and you go, "Wow,
Yeah, you're
I
like,
did that."
good.
Yeah,
Yes, that's the
that's
best
pretty
feeling in the
amazing.
world.
Mhm.
But you have to take time to step back, right? I think
You
so
do.
many times people get so caught up in the minute little details that are very important. But if you don't take time once in a while to step back and be like, you did that, that was great.
You
That's
do.
important.
Because in the everyday, you pretty much only see the problems. You deal with problems every day, so you feel like it's one step forward, one step back, where you're just chugging water. But net overall, usually it goes up. A good way
Yes.
from yeah.
Net goes up and then your what you charge goes up because you're like, I'm good at this. Right?
Yeah, or you get at it faster. So my first company probably took me about 2 years when we were making $1 million a year in revenue. Um, my latest company probably took about 3 months.
Well, I know that's what I was
Yeah,
looking at. You know what I mean? Because you learn so much more quickly
you
the
do.
next time around.
And
And the
you have the resources and know-how, and you know what choices to make, and you know where to go and what to do, and makes a big difference.
huge difference. But it's kind
Yeah.
of, it takes us all the way back to the croissant story, right?
Yep.
Literally, it's like you just need to go step by step, ABC, and you're going to start with pizzas and you're going to end up with delicious croissants.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
One of the best stories I have about that, it's a Bill Gates' story. I watched a documentary a long time ago, just before I was starting my first company or close around there, and what he did with IBM, where he had IBM pay to develop the first software he built, the
Mhm.
operating system, but he kept the rights to the software, and then he kept selling it to everybody else.
Mm,
That was a key moment when you're trying to finance your company and grow it by having other people
pay
pay
for it.
for your R&D and your investment. Of course, trying to make profit of the first customer,
Yes.
but it helps.
Yeah, it's just the practice. Yeah, for sure. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we touched on so much. I want to hear about this. At present, George is a fashion and editorial photographer with more than 40 magazine covers.
Thank
That's
you.
incredible.
Thank you.
How did you get into photography?
Oh, that's a good story too. So my father bought me my first digital camera 25 years ago when I was traveling around Turkey and stuff like that. So that's why I really got my first digital camera, and I didn't know how to use it. So it was of practice and error. Really try the settings, see what they do, and learn from that. So I've been doing travel photography ever since, more or less. And then after I sold my last company, I was a little bit bored. I didn't know what to do. And I met this photographer. His name is Paul Tirado. Amazing photographer, great guy. Can only say good things about him. And I wanted to learn. And we did a deal where I rent a studio. I need an office anyway, so I might as well get a studio.
Yep.
A smaller, a slightly bigger room than we need for an office. And then he can use the studio on the weekend. And in exchange, he will teach me everything he knows and get me in contact with the industry and teach me how to do everything. And that's what we did. So we also became friends. And that's how I did everything. So I found a teacher. I found a teacher. I got a camera. I got some models to test, and I practiced things, and I tried to be creative. I also used mood boards. I used posing boards. I would project stuff on the wall to get inspiration. I read some books about posing and about techniques. I took another few lessons, one in Paris with a photographer, one in New York, but getting other ideas and different views.
Hmm.
And that's how I did it. And then, of course, the resulting pictures were good enough, at least, to be accepted by editors in chiefs for their magazine covers. So
Oh my gosh, I love that.
we even got some Harper Bazaars and things like that. So
That's
I'm
a really
not
big
covered.
deal.
I was very happy with it, and I'm still very happy with them. And
Heck yeah.
we'll keep doing some. I slowed down the photography right now because I'm mostly focused on painting.
Hmm.
It's different. It's very different.
Creative though. I mean, it's all those
Very
different
creative.
creative sides of the brain. And that's
Yeah.
very fascinating too, because you have your creative side of your brain, but then you also have the IT side and the MIT side and all of that.
But see, like that's where it's also rewarding. Where photography, at the end of the day, it's optical engineering. No, I
Yeah.
took optics class and I took electronics class, and I know how the lenses work, and I know the Fresnel laws and all of that with the French version. They're called Descartes in French. And so I know how lenses work. I know all of that. So for me, doing photography and light is, and it's like lab work. Now you have in front of you a beautiful subject. It's fashion, it's art, it's a human being, and you're trying to connect those. But I was never really worried that I cannot do photography. Painting, though, is very different. We're using skills I've never learned about drawing skills and so on. And it's and you start and they look like frogs, and you're like, oh, this doesn't look good. And then, a year or two later, once again, you practice like lessons, workshop, and so on, and you're like, wow, I painted that.
Yeah, you look back and you're like, hey, pretty good.
It was good. It was good, and it's rewarding too.
Well, I hope you're proud of yourself, because when I read your bio, I was like, this guy's got it figured out. I love how you're adventurous. I love how you take risks. I love how you're not afraid to fail or look stupid. You're like really willing to put yourself out there and learn.
That's where I'm very thankful to America and the Americans' way of doing life. And that's why I feel like I fit really well here. I grew up in Romania. I grew up in France, and I came here. I feel like the best place to be is here because many things fit my personality.
Yes.
First thing is, in US, it's okay to fail. You're learning from your failures. It's not the end of the world. In UK, for example, if your company goes bankrupt, you automatically get banned from doing business in the UK as a director for 7 years. Can you imagine that?
To this day?
To this day, I got banned. I had a company there. My company went bankrupt. I got banned from being a director in a company in the UK for 7 years. Yep.
I never knew that. Why?
Because you fail. And therefore you like it.
Horrible. Oh my goodness.
I know. So my first successful company was my third one. So imagine if you're an 18-year-old, you start a company, goes bankrupt, boom, can't do business for 7 years.
So you're squashing all this great talent and all this entrepreneurial spirit and all these people with drive and dreams.
And imagine how that affects the hope and spirit of young people and the opportunities. And this, what this means is people who are rich, who have money, they don't want to let other people get there. Creates a very fixed society. So I hate that. Anyway, but I love that about the United States. The second thing I love about the United States is don't get in my way, leave me alone, don't start bothering me. But if I do stuff, let me do it. So this freedom to create, to build, the credibility, if as I was a 23, 24, 25-year-old goes to a big multi-billion-dollar fund and say, I have this new startup, this new software in trading, in currencies, I can do this and that, and it's going and it's growing, and they take you very seriously. In France, they laugh you out of the room. Oh, 20, you know nothing about life. And I recognize you don't know very much. But because you don't know very much, you take fights and you do things that anybody who has half a brain, half an experience would not even try. Because you see the obstacles and the difficulties. And as a 22-year-old who knows nothing, you're like, I'm going to change the world. I'm going to create a picture book that's electronic, where everybody puts all their personal data and their pictures, and everybody's going to do that, and it's going to be $100 billion business. And guess what? He's right.
He's right.
He's right.
Yeah, he's right. Can you imagine that? I mean, give me all your data, give me all your photos, your family, friends, every connection you've ever made.
They will do that for free. I don't even have to pay them. They'll give me all the information.
Right? It's like.
Let me give you an example. I'm going to create a multi-billion-dollar business where everybody sends 140 character messages. Like the pager messages? Yeah, sure. Yeah, nobody's going to use that. What's that used for?
Yeah, I don't know. Oh my gosh, isn't it crazy?
So America is great. America is great. Everybody I know who works hard, who struggles, who really does everything they can, are comfortable or better.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know people, my friends in France, who work 12 hours a day as a software programmer and make 35,000, 40,000 euros a year.
And they're working really hard.
Yes, and the rent is not much cheaper than in the US.
Wow.
The food is not much cheaper than in the US. But here, you can build a company in 2 years and have, be worth millions.
Yes.
So anyway, I think it's the place to be.
Oh, I love that. Okay, we're wrapping up. Is there anything else you want to touch on?
I think we covered everything, and I really appreciate your time. It was really a pleasure working with you.
It was such a pleasure. Please, I'd love to work with you again more in the future. It's so fascinating. And I love that you have such a go-getter attitude. It's so rare to find those
Thank you.
people.
I would like to invite you if you're ever around New York City, which hopefully you have reason to
Yes.
be regularly. I would like to be another interview in person, or if you want to be on a magazine cover.
Well, I would take that too. Yeah, I mean, let's do
There we go.
both.
Yeah,
We can be friends. We can
that's
do
right.
New York and a magazine, all of it.
There you go. Many deals to come to New York.
Okay, thank you so much. Take
It's a pleasure
care.
meeting you. Have a good
You
day.
too.
Bye.
Bye.